So this is the Catalina 22, the Seal of A. Has a keel down at the bottom that is able to be lowered and retracted. This is the rudder for the back. Pulpit. A little bit of jerry rigging I was testing out because you have to raise and lower this mast. This pole right here is a crutch, and this is only in use while you're not on the water. When you're on the water, that stays in the tow vehicle. And I've got a Yamaha 4-stroke 9.9. And then we are going to take a tour of the inside of the boat. There's a little ladder in the back. So if this crutch was taken off when you were sailing, this is where the rudder would go, and then you have the rudder handle sticking out here, and that's how you are steering. Then we have these benches and a little bit of an AC here. We're using it for nap time at one point. This is roughly 20 inches across. Inside of here, there is a trailering piece for the mast, some dock buoys. This area down in here is storage, but anything in here can get wet. And then on this side, this is the gas can for the motor. And then there will be extra jugs of gasoline down in here. I like to have plenty. Anything down in here can also get wet. And then top side, you have the narrowest walkway you ever did see. And then you have a front hatch that opens, a solar panel that will maintain a battery, and then this hatch will slide forward, or if the mast is all the way in the upright position, this rooftop can pop up, which I will not be demonstrating because that mast is quite heavy. So I'm going to open up this door. So when I slid this door open here, I was not able to slide it any further than that due to the mast being in the way. But normally that could slide that distance again more forward. And then I took all these doors off, and this is how you walk inside. And then that pop-up that I was talking about would be about a little over a foot tall once it's popped up. And that is this whole rim all the way around here. This entire roof piece pops up, and then it goes forward towards the mast a little bit, making a lot more headroom in here. Right now, when I sit in here, my hair is nice and touching the ceiling. And it gets shorter that way. So this is the V-berth. Up there's a little cubby where the anchor rod is stored. And then this is a pretty big bed space. This cushion right here is able to pop up, and there's a porta-john toilet back in there. That's the bathroom situation. Kind of a one-man bathroom in here when it's needed. And then this right now is a bed, but there is a table that can be set up, and the table is not the fastest thing to move back and forth. Now these storage areas, when you open them, this under here is the hull of the boat. Anything in here, there's the bilge pump is right there. So any water that gets in here can get stuff wet. That's kind of a lot of the theme on this boat. So I'd have my stuff in a lot of plastic bins, or if it got wet, at least you wouldn't want it to get broken. So up here we have a radio and a VHF. There are a couple of lights. There is some auxiliary and power. And this bed goes all the way back there underneath that bench. So you have from here all the way to there, that has a cushion. And then this right here is the mast. This is the sail and the boom that would go onto the mast that's up there, and you just store it in here for trailering. But yeah, so there's a little compartment in here that also goes down to the hull. And a little compartment in here that goes down to the hull. So these areas are areas that are dry right now, but if you did get a substantial amount of water, they could become damp. And then on the V-berth, there is hatches underneath there that are not the most convenient to get to, so I won't be demonstrating that right now. So there's this little footwell right here. That would be really tight if anybody was trying to sleep in there, but realistically you have one nice long bed. You could stick your feet down in there, so one bed here. In the front, you have a bed here and a bed there, and this thing is quite small. 2 people can sleep if you're smashed into each other, or it's a 1-person bed. More access into the area where the gas tank is in the back. Anything that gets put in there can also get wet. Basically, the area that doesn't get wet is the V-berth and the beds and such. Anything else can get wet. So we have this bench right here, this little footwell, which is a little bit shorter than the benches because the benches come up here, the footwell stops down there. Some little scupper drains right there and right there for when you climb into the boat, and then you drain your water in here before you come inside. That way we try and keep the inside dry. Because there's no drains in there. Any water that we get in there we have to dry up. So I think that's the tour of the Catalina. For raising this up, it's tricky because it's heavy, this mast. It's a 2-person job. Some people can do it with one person with a little bit of figuring out things. It's much better with two people. So there's a little bit of spot up there that you could sit down, or we could potentially tie some stuff like inflatable paddle boards up to the front or something. Alright, hopefully you've enjoyed this tour of the Catalina not on the water.